So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, AI as Cognitive Support, Practical Tools for Everyday Life. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kim Stranero, and I'm a community outreach specialist with the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. The Alliance is a nonprofit organization with a mission to provide education, awareness, prevention strategies, advocacy, and support for those who have been impacted by brain injury. We're transitioning our Zoom service to include closed captioning. In the meantime, please use the My Notes transcript feature to access a live transcript of the webinar. That can be found at the bottom of your screen in the black bar. Press More, those three dots where it says More, and then you'll see a button for transcript. I would like to announce that we are hosting part 3 of this webinar series on November 19th on the future of AI in brain injury. So actually this slide isn't correct. It should say the future of AI in brain injury, and that's on November 19th. You may register for this on our website at bianj.org/webinars. We also have our Run, Walk, Roll for brain injury awareness coming up in 3 locations in the fall: September 26th in Paramus, October 3rd in Mount Laurel, October 10th in Bradley Beach. That will include a timed 5K option. And then we also have a concussion symposium coming up September 18th at Monmouth University that will be co-hosted with Monmouth University's Department of Speech Language Pathology. And that's the flyer for that. So just a few housekeeping notes before we begin the presentation. Attendees' microphones have been muted. So if you have any questions during today's webinar, please type them in the Q&A box. We will get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the BIANJ website. At the end of the webinar, a link for a post-webinar survey will be placed in the chat. We do value your feedback, so you're encouraged to complete the survey. You must complete the survey in order to receive a certificate of attendance. Once you submit that survey, you will automatically receive that certificate of attendance via email. Just another reminder that you may use the My Notes transcript feature to access a live transcript of this webinar. That can be found at the bottom of your screen in the black bar. Press the 3 dots for more, and then there's a button that says transcript. Our presenter for today's webinar is Dr. Monique Tremaine. Monique Tremaine, PhD, is a clinical neuropsychologist specializing in acquired brain injury, cognitive rehabilitation, and emotional recovery following neurological illnesses and trauma. She serves as the director of inpatient and outpatient neuropsychology and cognitive rehabilitation at HMH JFK Johnson Center for Brain Injuries and has extensive experience developing an interdisciplinary rehabilitation programming for individuals with brain injury. Dr. Tremaine has a long-standing interest in the integration of emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence and virtual reality, into cognitive rehabilitation and community reintegration. Her work emphasizes practical, ethical, and human-centered approaches to supporting individuals with brain injury and their families. So I am so pleased to welcome Dr. Tremaine, along with special guest Michael Bulko, who will be assisting in an AI demonstration later in the program and will introduce himself at that time. So welcome to both of you. Thank you for being here, and I will turn it over to you to get started.
Thanks. Okay, well, thank everybody for joining. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. If you missed the first part, that's okay. I think we're going to be doing a little bit more of the demonstrations and the interactive part today. Give me just a second so I can share my screen. Okay, so we're going to be talking today about AI and practical tools for everyday life. The idea here is for people with brain injury and for those practitioners who are trying to integrate AI guided tools into their practice in helping people. This is kind of geared for both. Ideas being building independence, reducing the overwhelm of daily life. And I sometimes think this is so underaddressed, but just reclaiming that joy and passion for life after an injury, by utilizing AI to be able to restart some lost hobbies, get the person out into the community. So that's going to be a little bit of the focus today. So I do have to give a disclaimer. We talked a lot about this in the last presentation, but AI is simply another tool. If you think about back not that long ago, where, if you've ever been through cognitive rehabilitation, you would have been encouraged to keep a memory book, to keep a binder that you put everything in, keep an organizer. AI is a tool such as that. As I had emphasized in the last talk, AI at this point is not conscious. It really is there to help you organize thoughts, put together steps for the day, but ultimately the user is the decision maker. And that being said, AI is not a doctor. It's not a therapist. It's not a lawyer. It's not a financial advisor. And never, never, never should replace your care team or the recommendations of your care team, or, of course, the people in your life. And, we'll address that throughout the entire series. But very important that again, you're the driver. This is ultimately something that is going to make you more efficient, more effective in your communications, and ultimately, again, establish that independence. So that being said, there's information you should never share. Never share your passwords. Never share your full bank account numbers, your credit card statements, your account numbers with any AI tool or anything that you don't trust. Social security numbers, family members' names, address, anything personal, anything that we would consider in the field PHI, or protected health information, your medical records, doctors that you go to. These are things that when you're entering information into AI, you can simply put, I see the orthopedist on this date. That's de-identified enough to be able to safely guide you through AI. Also, technology changes very fast. I'm actually glad that we're doing the third part in November, because by the time November rolls around, things will be very different actually than what they even look like today. So what we have to do is, as practitioners, ourselves keep up so that we can help people be able to also keep up. But take of this what helps you and feel free to leave the rest. We want to start small. Especially if you're not a current user of artificial intelligence. The other thing is that we'll stay away from making recommendations for specific types of AI. Ultimately, those models are still developing. I'll be using ChatGPT. It's a professional version to be walking through the steps that we're going to walk through today. But again, there's, in terms of which AI you decide to use is a personal choice. Sometimes it's an ethical choice. Some of these companies don't have the best reputations. And if you don't want to support something like that, that's absolutely your choice. And also, you can do all this staying away from any kind of paid version of a AI. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. So as we started and laid the foundation for in the first webinar, we are going to see how AI can support everyday life after brain injury. we're going to talk a lot, and this is where I'm going to bring Michael in, and I'm going to introduce Michael in a minute, but we are going to talk about how to enhance the prompts that we're currently using. So AI is all about what you actually give it. It will follow your direction. So if you're not getting the information that you want to get the first time around, there are ways to prompt it so that it remains under your control. We talked in the last webinar about how it'll easily take you down a rabbit hole. It will, you'll ask a question, you'll get a whole dissertation back. We want to help you avoid that. And then we're going to leave you with some ideas that you can try this week at any starting point. So there's a handout that comes along with this webinar. We're going to release the slides, we're going to release the handout, and that's going to guide you to be able to use some prompts that we've used today, or be able to tweak them in a way that is suitable to you and your life, and you can get started if that's what you want to do. So we're thinking about AI in terms of an organizational device. You're the decision maker. AI can help structure your thinking, but it doesn't replace you, and it doesn't replace your thinking. There's a wide spectrum of tools out there, and it is okay if today you only take one idea home with you. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to introduce Michael. Michael is a brain injury survivor who's had a series of concussions. I'm gonna ask Michael to tell a little bit of his story of his journey through brain injury, where he started, and some of the challenges that he had. I would also say, in my brief interactions with Michael, he is an AI super user. He probably is a lot more advanced in his use of AI than in the last 2 years that I've been really doing using AI for just about everything. So he's going to talk a little bit more about that. And at this point, I'm just going to open up, and Michael, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Hey, thanks. I'm Michael, and you can see on this slide here, it just has a little bit about, some of the stuff I'm up against, that doesn't really go away with memory, and my ears are just constantly ringing, and even with my glasses, my eyes don't work like they used to, and um, y- you know, some of the more recent realizations around my challenges are just I have definitely have trouble putting things in different boxes, and it definitely makes it challenging. And as I lean into some of these tools that are available, I have noticed that they've, especially in the past 6 months, I've been able to have a lot of success that kind of resembles the success I used to have before some of these injuries. I had a lot of high functioning activity in multiple jobs at once, helping companies develop their products and helping companies develop their communities, and also working in the real estate investment field with partners, helping them manage hundreds of rental units. And it was a huge devastating thing, to be asked not to come back to the office because I wasn't effective anymore. I wasn't able to manage tons of data and do 5 things at once like I used to, and it was really hard. So then, as I started, discovering some tools in AI, I realized that there's real opportunity there for me to get, there's only so many people that can listen to so many things and have enough time to help me with this and that. But I now have a 24-hour, always on it feels like a personal assistant in AI that the longer I go, the more I learn, the more I teach it about me, the more it can help me. And now I'm at a point where I can complete, extremely complex tasks. I'm seeing success in my life, not just in work, but in, my family, my own personal business, and my own, like, just general life tasks. I would forget things all the time. My kids both of my boys went 2 years without a birthday party because it just couldn't seem to get it organized. Now if we fast forward to today, I'm here working with Dr. Tremaine and Brain Injury Alliance to, try to, I'm doing my best to communicate this message because it really is true that that modern technology has been an extreme help in getting me back towards some of the greatness I experienced in the past. And those all sound like big things, but it really started with small things, like just having this thing help me plan a few tasks for my day that, sometimes just overwhelming. One morning I'll wake up and feel okay, and other mornings I'm sure a bunch of people listening right now can understand what a cloudy day is like. Even when the sun is shining, it just feels like there's a cloud in my brain. This really helps me through it sometimes.
So, Michael, thank you so much for that. You really have, in my interactions with you, you've really gone through a lot, and you've done a lot to be able to maximize your own self-sufficiency and move through the challenges. And just want to reiterate, you were productive worker, educated, family. These are the challenges of everyday life that it is hard to navigate alone. We go, you get at best, a year of concentrated treatment, if that, and then from there you're on your own. The rebuilding really does. It becomes very unstructured after treatment ends. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm super glad to have you here, and we'll go through some of this in sort of an interactive way. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through a path of the day. We'll build an example of how to use AI. I'm going to be screen sharing and going back and forth, so you'll have to bear with me with that. But we'll kind of talk about when the unexpected comes up, and how AI can sort of help you move from that reactive place to be able to slow down, to be able to organize and gather your thoughts and put together a plan about how you want to react to a given situation. AI can help support care at appointments, bills, not with account numbers or that sort of thing, but just, we were having a conversation a little bit earlier today just about the extreme amount of medical appointments that people have to, without really any help. Some people have to organize, have to coordinate, have to work with insurance companies. So those practical everyday things in life, communications, and then the things in life that make us happy. So being able to use AI in a way that is actually helpful and constructive, and then also what to watch out for. And then what comes next, and the future of AI, the future of the next webinar, and how I would like for the audience to kind of also give some ideas about what you would like to hear next out of the next webinar based on what you got from this one. And on the handout, I included my email address because I really do want to hear from people. Did you try this? Did you use this? Did it work? How can we help facilitate making this easier for you, making it less threatening, and making it, again, step by step going through. So, starting the day, and this is kind of where we start this webinar is that just some people wake up in the morning ready to go, energetic. It's going to be a good day. One thing happens, and next thing you know, that plan collapses. Or some people can wake up feeling very foggy. And really, before the day has even begun, you might have a number of things that you have to do, but there's this heaviness and this fogginess that's around you that might prevent that. So AI can help you sequence even the next few hours, but again, without pretending that the day is going to go along perfectly. So we're going to do this prompt. So I have a brain injury. I become overwhelmed in the morning. I need to take my medications, eat breakfast, walk my dog, and leave for a doctor's appointment to be there by 10:30. Help me create a simple morning routine that keeps me from feeling rushed. So I have kind of pre-prepared this prompt. I'm hoping I can just copy paste it. I can't. Okay, 1 second. So Michael, I'm going to bring up my chat. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. I'm gonna give me just 1 minute.
Sorry about the dinging. I have 4 computers on over here.
Okay, if you would do me a favor, I've got, I'm going to
I,
share my chat as soon as I figure out how.
I'm also going to, just in case, just for fun, I asked my AI agent to pull up the brain injury prompt, which it did. I just pasted it in the email, and it is going to you right now.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh my goodness, I need to stop the dinging. Okay.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen, but I can't see what you guys are seeing. Um,
And we're not seeing your screen on our end.
okay.
So when you shared it, did you go to the share button at the bottom of the screen and did you share your the correct window, like the browser window or wherever the AI assistant is?
Yeah, it does. It says choose what to share, and then I'm hitting entire screen. Maybe if I just hit window.
Once you select the window, then you may have to hit another button towards the bottom. It says share or something once you select it.
So you guys see the presentation right now.
Yes.
Yes.
And do you now see Chat GPT?
No, we're still seeing the presentation.
Okay, so let's do it this way to save time. Michael, I'm gonna go ahead and you guys just have to, so I'm gonna have Michael prompt me so I can type the prompt into Chat GPT, and I'm just gonna verbally share with you what Chat GPT is giving back to me. So go
Okay.
ahead and Michael, give me that prompt so I can type it in.
Okay. It's in your email, and I can just read it to you if you want. I have a brain injury and become overwhelmed in the morning. Ready?
Almost. Okay, go ahead.
I need to take my medications, eat breakfast, walk my dog, and leave for a doctor's appointment by 10:30.
Okay, wait. So start with I need. I need
To take my medications, eat breakfast, walk my dog, and leave for a doctor's appointment.
by 10:30.
Yep.
Okay.
Help me create a simple morning routine
Okay.
that keeps me from feeling rushed.
Okay. I entered it. AI is thinking. Okay. So 18 seconds later, AI thinks it's a strong prompt. Good morning. Let's keep this simple and focused on one task at a time. The goal is to leave by 10:30 a.m. feeling prepared, not rushed. 8:30, wake up. Sit up slowly and take a few deep breaths. 8:35, take morning medications with a glass of water. 8:40, eat a simple breakfast. Don't worry about making it perfect. 9 o'clock, walk your dog at a comfortable pace. 9:30, return home and take a few minutes to rest if needed. 9:40, get dressed and gather anything you need for your appointment. Wallet, phone, insurance card, keys. Love that insurance card thing. I cannot tell you how many times I've left the house without it to go to an appointment. 10 o'clock, double check that you have everything. Use the restroom and fill your water bottle if you'd like. 10:15, put on your shoes and head to the car. 10:30, leave for your appointment. If you notice yourself feeling overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, what's the only thing I need to do right now? Ignore the rest of the list until that one step is complete. And now AI goes on to write a dissertation, commenting on its own comments. So, Michael, I'm going to ask you, given all that, how do I prompt this a little bit better, make it a little bit more specific, and maybe individually tailor it
Yeah,
to make it even a little tighter?
great. Well, I'm uh, I'm so happy to say the world is our oyster, and not only can we get the information we need, but we can tell any AI not only what we want to know, but how we would like the answer to be delivered. So, from my experience, especially in the past when I was in recovery, like a more so even as awesome as that answer was, thanks for not reading the dissertation after. For me, even the answer, even if it's perfect, could be overwhelming. So I could literally tell this thing, great, thanks. I like the day plan you made, but it's really hard for me to look at that all at once and not feel overwhelmed. Can you just give me the first step so that once I complete it, I'll just say done, and then you can tell me the next thing to do? And it will literally say, okay, here, just all you have to do you'll see this when you wake up. Just look at the phone when you wake up, and it'll just say, take your breaths at 8:30. Let me know when you're ready for the next thing, and it'll just give it to you piece by piece, so it's not this giant thing in your face. So,
Okay.
it's just
So,
that, you don't got to type all that in there, but that's the idea of it. So you could say something simply if you wanted it like that, or just to go back to the beginning of my answer, when you made that prompt, you could leave it exactly how it was. I have brain injury, I need to take my medication. You give it all the stuff. And, and at the end of that, you could do the same prompt and say, but can you give this to me step by step, simply without a lot of explanation? Just give me the day plan. You could just say,
Okay.
please just give me the day plan. Don't give me any explanation or embellishments or any way that you want to see that answer. You have to be clear with it, and it'll give you
Okay,
exactly
so
what you're asking for.
here's the next prompt that I gave it though on the same stream. I like the day plan you made. Michael and I have both discussed we do tend to be positively reinforcing to our AI. And I do find that the more positive you are, the more positive responses you get back. So I write, I like the day plan you made. It's hard for me to look at this all at once. Can I just look at the first step and can you give it to me piece by piece? Simple and not a lot of explanation or embellishment. And now I'm hitting send. So what AI gives me takes a second to think. That's another thing is the amount of time it takes to think kind of depends on the complexity of your question, but it also kind of depends on how many users are using it at one time, how your internet is working. So this worked for 14 seconds. It also gives me its opinion. This is actually an even stronger demonstration because it shows the user teaching AI. So it's actually talking to me because it knows we're doing this presentation because I told it. Okay, so now after it gives me its opinion, example AI response. Step 1, take your morning medication with a glass of water. Reply done when you're ready for the next step. Okay, so I'm going to reply done.
While it's thinking, I could just tell you one other thing. For me, it's not helpful for me to have a screen in my face in the morning. I like to wake up naturally because I just don't want my mental pathways getting overstimulated as I ease into, getting my day going. You can literally say, can you give me my day plan in a PDF so I can just print it and have a piece of paper on my kitchen table and I'll check them off as I go. You can have any result you want.
Okay, so now it takes me very literally. And step 2 now says eat breakfast. Okay, so here's where I would come in and I would say, I have eggs, tomato, garlic, and broccoli. Can you find me a 10-minute recipe to put together breakfast? Okay, and again, would you prompt it any more than that? 10 minutes, told it what I need.
Also, you can tell it, keep it simple. Don't tell me what a great idea it is. Just give me the recipe.
Okay.
And you can also say, in put my day plan in each response or something so it's like always right there and I don't have to scroll up. Like it's limitless the way you can tell this what to give you. It's not Google. You're not asking a question and sorting through a million answers. You tell it the exact answer you want, not just the info, but the way that you want your info delivered, and it'll do it.
That is a really good point. Okay, so I'm going to say exactly what I wrote exactly what you said. I have eggs, tomato, garlic, and broccoli. Can you give me a 10-minute recipe to put together breakfast? Keep it simple. Don't tell me what a great idea it is. Just give me the recipe. Also, put my day plan in each response so I can always see the plan. Okay, so you guys get the idea. We could go, well, again, we could go further with this, but the idea is we don't want to go further with it. That we're just putting together and structuring the day. We're not getting lost in an AI rabbit hole. Okay, so let me go back to, you guys are still seeing my presentation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now I just have to see my presentation.
And
Uh,
one other thing to kind of like prevent getting overwhelmed by the superfluous responses is if it gives you an answer and it's just like, oh my God, this is half the length of my arm, you could don't even have to read it. Say, you know what? I didn't read that. Could you please give it to me in a succinct way? Tell me the same thing, just give it to me in 10 lines. It will count out 10 lines and it'll be easy to read.
Some other things that were in here is I only have 2 hours. I fatigue easily. I need rest breaks. I need a way to calm myself down after each step so I can focus on how I'm going to go to the next step. Okay. So when something unexpected comes, your first reaction doesn't have to be your final reaction. Okay. So next prompt. And once again, I am going to go into my chat, and Michael, if you would be so kind as to read it to me.
I want to fix your computer.
I know, I'm so sorry. I wish we could do this so you guys could see it. Let me just see if there's one other thing I
I'll,
can try.
Monique, when you shared your screen before, did you select the Chrome or whatever browser window that chat is
I
open in?
Yes, that I have done before and that's worked. I didn't see it. So I get oh, Microsoft Edge tab. This is it. Got it. Okay, fabulous. You guys can see
Perfect.
this
We
now,
see it.
right? Thank you so
Yep, it
much for
looks
yay.
great.
that. Okay. All right, go ahead and give me the next prompt. And you guys ignore
Okay.
my typos because AI ignores typos. Don't get stuck on typos. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see, I'm looking for it. Okay, there we go. I have a brain injury and become overwhelmed when I receive unexpected medical bills. Help me organize my thoughts before I call the billing office. What information should I gather?
Okay, all right. What?
What questions should I ask?
I'm also going to add, I don't need commentary on whether this is a good exercise. We are doing a live demo. Okay, let's see what it gives us. And I'm going to go ahead and answer now because, again, I don't need a dissertation. Okay, here you go. Before you call, gather your medical bill, your explanation of benefits, your insurance card, your date of service, provider, facility name, any any previous bills or payments, a pen and a paper. Okay, let's stop there.
Mm-hmm.
We want to gather that information, but what do we not want to do?
Can I
Michael?
tell?
Yes.
We don't want to get overwhelmed with a giant project before we even make this stressful phone call. That's what I don't want to do.
Okay.
So,
And what
you
I'm
know,
looking for too is we're going to gather this information for our own purposes. We're not scanning it into AI. That's all your
uh,
PHI. Yeah. So this is for your own preparation in order to be ready to make this phone call. Okay. Questions to ask. Can you explain each charge on my bill? Can you send me an itemized bill? Has my insurance been billed and processed? What is my current balance and how is it calculated? Are there any billing errors or duplicate charges? Is there an in-network or out-of-network charge? This list is already overwhelming for me. Okay.
mhm.
But I do think that these are good questions because when you end up on the phone with that person who may or may not be vested in your well-being, it is kind of good to be able to be versed in this. I wouldn't expect anybody to know about can it be covered by the No Surprises Act. But just looking at this, Michael, and then it does go on. So during the call, write down the representative's name, the date and time, reference or case number. All these are really good things. So you want a notebook by you too. Before you hang up, confirm, I understand what I owe. I know why I owe it. I know what happens next, and I know who to contact if I have more questions. Before we go on and refine this, I just want to say that one of my experiences with AI and dealing with something like this is suddenly you have something sitting next to you, kind of helping to take that stress of all of this that would normally just be in your head, putting it on paper. And that way, all you have to do is deal with the person or the automated service that's going to be answering your call. So that being said, Michael, do you have any commentary?
Sure. I mean, it is quite a list that, the response that got generated is pretty substantial. There's bullet points, there's numbers. So, maybe, you don't even, let's see what happens. Maybe we can type something in that says like, um, I'm just, you don't have to type what I say now, but let's come up with something along the lines of, I don't know if I owe this or not. Like, maybe we can break it into two calls. This seems like a lot, this list you gave me. Don't forget I have brain injury, so maybe we can make a prospecting call first with a minimal list. And then after I get results, I can give you a new prompt and you can help me through the next call so I'll be prepared and know what's happening. So something like that, because this is big. This might be a lot to do for somebody that's obviously with bills they're in treatment right now, for their brain injury. This could be too much. So you can always break it down into smaller steps and make it, manageable.
Okay. So you guys see what I'm typing. So let's break this down into steps. Maybe I can make an initial call with only a few of these items and I can follow up. How do I make this more manageable? Notice how I'm ignoring my typos. Okay, I like this. Your goal is not to solve the bill today. Your goal is simply to understand it. Have
Hallelujah.
these, yeah,
Sorry.
right, right. Yes, I already feel better. Um, have these three things with you: medical bill, pen and paper, your name and date of birth for verification. When someone answers, you can say, "Hi, I'm calling because I received a bill that I don't understand. I'd like some help reviewing it." Ask only these three questions. What is this bill for? Has my insurance already processed this claim? Can you send me an itemized bill? Before ending the call, write down representative's name, reference number, what they said the next step is. Okay, and then here's your progress. reply done when you're ready for the next steps. The one thing it didn't do is it didn't give me my list of to-dos for the rest of the day, but we didn't really include that in the initial list. So I'm gonna give it a break. Okay, so let's get back to the PowerPoint.
That seeing this response is a genuine relief to me. Like I can look back in my life at how many times bills or things stacked up because I was like a deer in the headlights. Like it's just like, okay, I know I have to do this, and I know it's not that big of a deal, but it's like I just don't know the next step. I put it aside to get to it later, and then the next thing's in front of me. So that really is an answer, that somebody could chew on.
Okay. And I want to leave time for questions. So let's kind of go through. So getting support is it really kind of support your health care. It can really support your life goals. It can help you put order to chaos. It can help you with hard conversations. Again, it should never replace your voice. It should organize your voice. So maybe put some things in, but you're not asking for advice. You're not asking for counsel. You're just saying, here are my thoughts, and can you help me organize this? Again, stay safe. Don't share passwords, card numbers. I do want to get to this before I open it up for questions. AI can be used to help you reclaim the things that you love, your hobbies, your skills, things that you used to do that you enjoyed. Sometimes recovery can just be all about reclaiming cognition, executive functioning, organizing. What about the things in life that are meaningful to you? Again, things that I try to say to people, don't start anything that you didn't already have some experience with before. But AI can really be helpful. And here's an example that you can, follow through with today. Have it help you cook a nice meal if cooking is something that's available to you and you've been medically cleared, etc., for that sort of activity. And again, using AI wisely. So here are signs that it's helping. Your life maybe feels a little easier. You don't feel so alone and overwhelmed. You're more organized. You're getting more real and tangible things done. You're connecting with people. And AI is supporting the activity, but you're the one who's going and living your life. Time to take a pause with AI when you're hours chatting with it instead of living your life. When you look around and suddenly you're more isolated. When you're trusting AI over your care team, very important with social media too. Your care team, these are the experts, these are the trained people. If you have more distress or more confusion, or you're finding that the AI is replacing important relationships. And just one last thing before we go on to the question and answers. Michael, can you talk a little bit about how we came together, used AI to be able to pull this off in a format that we followed today, and not a lot of time?
Yeah, because summer swallowed time for both of us, and we somehow managed to put together a good 2 weeks of work in 48 hours by collaborating between you, your AI, my AI system that I've built here. We had it, as we talked, we had it taking notes and keeping things organized. And, I asked it even, I mean, the technology is so amazing that we took, you made your own original presentation. We even fed that to it. And then it took what you had made, what we talked about while we were talking. And, I was able within an hour and with these tools to deliver something to you that was a revised version that still had the life and the message that you wanted, but we managed to dial it down because there's so much here. We wanted to share so much. I think we originally had 29 slides. We broke it down into 12 and we barely made it through them because there's so much in here. But, we used these tools and it wasn't just the presentation. It was, we used it to create, there's going to be a handout after this. We summarized the message that we wanted. There's a call to action there now. And when we're done and when we all go about our business, there's going to be, a handout. You can check out the slides from this, but you can also see this handout that the system generated is a really helpful way for you to take what we talked about today and just try it out and apply it from any. You don't need to be advanced. It could be your first day ever talking to it. And it supported us through the whole thing. And even me, there's no way I could have done this without this support between emails and keeping track of what I was supposed to do and who was supposed to get what for approval and all that stuff. It all got handled and it was wrapped in this framework.
So that's a little, that's a little foreshadowing also for what we can do for the next presentation, of really kind of how on an advanced level to maybe put a little bit of this together and really make it work as a coordinated system. But I also want you to talk about your day, about how you felt after spending a full day.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that is that means a lot to me because it's a real win and it's like true success because I've had plenty of days in the past without, I spent a long time learning this and putting it together, but it's been a fruitful journey the whole time. And last night was a great example because I'm just talking about the tools and how it was a force multiplier for us, right? And that we were more efficient and we got a lot more done in a surprising amount of time. But I got home and I cooked. I was cooked, right? I felt the pulsing in my brain. I laid down to read a book to my boys, and I took a deep breath. And like in that moment, I was like, okay, like I felt like a warrior who returned from battle, right? Because of all the stuff we had to do and all the thinking, all the talking, all the moves we had to make, and we got everything done on time. And yet, there was a big difference last night from a lot of other times in the past when I would be home and I would feel that same way, but there'd be no win. Like I tried really hard all day long, but didn't really end up with the results I was expecting. Last night, I returned home successful. And the best part was that these tools were leverage, but I got to shine. I got to use my creativity. I got to, I'm inspired to be on this because I want to help people, get somewhere like I got somewhere by using this stuff. And so it's a great opportunity, but like, I'm having a little trouble articulating this, but that's the win, was that these tools allowed me to be like the best self that I could be in this. Like it amplified and supported me in creating this thing. It wasn't that we just said, oh, we want to do this, and then it did it, and we're like, okay, that'll work. Like we really put ourselves into this.
We were the driver.
And then
so
right, we got to drive it.
Yes.
And now here we are almost at the end of this thing, and it feels like our message is getting across.
Yes. And for 3 minutes left, I do want to open it up for questions.
Well, thank you so much for that really informative presentation, Monique and Michael. We can take a few questions now. So I'm seeing in the chat, someone said, how about my medical information and deep learning about you? You want it to learn deeply about you, like having memory issues, cognitive issues, disability-related issues. Will AI spread that info? What is your professional opinion of deep personal learning and how it is used? Should we use GML?
I think that's a great question. So if you stay in generalities, if you put, I have problems with attention, I have problems with executive functioning, those are general enough because a lot of people have problems with attention and executive functioning. A lot of people see an orthopedist, but you don't put the name and you don't put your name. I think I shared in the last webinar that I actually, in developing my own AI, I not only put in my cognitive abilities and inabilities, I put in my personality traits and felt really perfectly comfortable with doing so. Um, but on the other hand, I'm like, well, I'm not really that worried, like, if you know what I mean. But then before I went into that webinar, because I knew I was doing it live last time, I typed into AI, a different AI. I used ChatGPT. I went into Claude and I said, tell me everything you know about Monique Tremaine. And it came up with less than what it would have told me if I would have Googled myself. So that's
Interesting.
kind of my answer. And I was
Yeah,
surprised.
thank
I was
you.
scared. I was scared to do that. So great question. Just stay in generalities, to put in things that are common to a lot of people. I know you feel like you're going through the experience alone, but a lot of people with ADHD struggle. And if you have ADHD and brain injury on top of it, that just kind of multiplies it. But um, these terms are common. They appear in neuropsych reports. They appear in your speech therapy records. And a lot of hospitals are starting to use self-contained, PHI compliant AI models as well. So these terms are out there. They're pretty safe to use.
That's great. Thank you. And then I assume, it would be a similar issue for financial business as well, being that that's like confidential too, so similarly. And then there's just two other questions I want to get to. I know we only have like a minute left, but someone asked how you manage the threads of all your AI conversations. And then the other question, which kind of ties into that, is Michael, can you please explain how you made your AI system to be more tailored towards you? So kind of interlinked, but those
Sure.
are the last two that I wanted
If
to get
if we
out
had
there.
if we had 4 or 5 more hours, I could really, really give great answers to those. We are going to have another webinar which gets a little more into the technical stuff, but for now, I'll say, for threads and stuff like that, the quick answer is you can go through your threads, your sessions, your chats, and ask them like, hey, can you make a summary of this for me? You don't need the whole giant thing. Boom, it'll make you a summary. You can start keeping it in files. And then if you're in chats later, you can literally pull those out. If it was a conversation, that's relevant to something that you need or you want to build upon, take it, give it to your new chat, then open up a brand new session and say, hey, here's where I left off. Here's the main points. Can we go from here? And then boom, you're right back in there. So that's one tip. And then as far as the system, it's trial and error. One day I feel like Superman and everything's working, and another day it doesn't do what I want, or it breaks, or it starts getting silly, and I'll find a new tool. And the best answer I can give you is you can actually, based on what you need, what your desires are, or what your outcome is, or what you need for your life, you can literally go to the AI and ask it to give you simple step-by-step instructions. And how can I make your memory better so you stop forgetting all this stuff and annoying me? Or how can I make you respond differently, so you talk to me with nice, brief answers instead of giving me all this. Like, you can ask it and it will give you the steps, and then you can take your time and apply them to your system.
That's great. Thank you. No, that makes perfect sense.
And you can
So
also, just one last piece, that
yeah,
Dr. Tremaine's email should be on the handout. So I don't think at this point anybody's going to have direct access to me, but questions, comments, we're going to need you to help us help others. So you can direct questions, comments, debates to Dr. Tremaine, and we'll look at stuff and we'll continue. I'm committed to doing my best to help moving forward with all this stuff. So it doesn't have to stop just because we end this session.
absolutely. And thank you so much to both of you for sharing your expertise with us today. As Michael noted, we will be sending a handout out after that has Monique's contact information on it. If you'd like to reach out for, additional questions or just letting them know how you use AI in your life. If your question wasn't answered today, you'd reach out to Monique or reach out to me at kmyers@bianj.org, and I will try to have our presenters answer it. So one final reminder to please complete the post-webinar survey that is in the chat. Chris Hopwood put that in the chat. and you will automatically receive a certificate of attendance via email once you complete that survey. So thank you again, Monique and Michael, for joining today. I know I learned a lot. I'm sure everyone else did as well. Thank you everyone for attending and for your thoughtful questions and comments. And we hope to see everyone at part 3, the November 19th webinar. So that concludes today's webinar. Thank you again.
Thank you, everybody.
And I'll just hang on for a few minutes just in case anyone needs that evaluation link. But thank you both for coming on.
That was awesome. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely.